So, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is a Blaze casting presentation bringing you guys a game between PimPamPum and the Russian casters as we move on into the lower bracket final through this Dota 2 Staff Cup. And with that, going to have some fun stuff. Matrix for you, Versuda, Casper, Maelstrom, and Vilat. Technically, I've only read these names rather than hearing them, so if I'm pronouncing something wrong, please let me know in chat. Hopefully I'll be able to check that out during the draft sometime. But on the other hand, PimPamPum, a random hodgepodge of different individuals, the random staff members that didn't have a team all set together will group up and formulate, and DK is going to be drafting up for them on the Dire. Now the first pick will be going out to the... Wait, did I mess that up? Yeah, I messed that up. The Radiant is on the bottom, so yeah. The first pick will be going to the Dire. They have already banned out the Morphling and the Lycanthrope coming on through, possibly the Naga Siren as well, as those are pretty much the most common bans out there. But instead going for the Chaos Knight, something a little more unorthodox, interesting. Leaving the Naga Siren for Radiant, or possibly going for the Darkseer. They go for the Enigma. Okay, so a lot of different ways to draft it up these days, and it's going to change a lot as 6.75 is released, and there's going to be a lot of changes out there. Looking forward to seeing some awesome off-lane Trim Protector action and stuff like that. Will be very, very fun indeed. So, moving on forward. Thanks for tuning in. I'm an up-and-coming Dota 2 American caster, and just having a lot of fun with this so far. I've only been casting for 3 months, and I have a lot to work on, but overall it's been a really good experience. This tournament especially has been a lot of fun, a little bit unorthodox, but in general pretty fast-paced and very enjoyable. So, moving on, the winner of this will move on to go up against the manager's team, actually, up in the winner's bracket grand final, and that'll be a best of 3 series, but this one here is just going to be a best of 1. And actually, since they don't have team names, I'm actually going to have to add in that on the scoreboard as we go into it. But as far as the drafting goes, the Enigma goes on through as a ban, along with the Darkseer, not wanting to have to deal with that wombo combo of AoE potential, and the Black Hole just adding a lot of power with the presence in teamfights is really what I'm thinking about there, with the fact that it does disable up to 4 hero, or up to 5 heroes in that channeled AoE, kind of like Magnetar's stun, as he will be forthcoming as well. But for the time being, it is just looking at what we're going to be seeing for first picks. Plenty of options by far. The Rubik, arguably less powerful with the Vacuum and the Black Hole unavailable to be stolen, but still a very powerful pick, along with that Invoker, Tide Hunter, Venomancer, Leshrac all getting through, and they're going to be big deals here. Leshrac starting it off, very powerful support, and they want to have that on the Russian lineup there, so Matrix for you, drafting that up. No, I'm trying to make sure that I didn't get this wrong, but let me double check the brackets real quick, because I believe... English casters, PimPamPum. Yeah, I don't know where... Yeah, GGNet will be in the finals going up against whoever wins this matchup. So that's why we're waiting it out, I suppose. But in the meantime, moving forwards, got to get the scoreboard up. The Rubik has been picked up by the Radiant team, DK, drafting that for their hero there. I'm trying to remember who plays their solo mid, but cannot recall off the top of my head. Probably either DK or Shiba, but not a big deal one way or another. So they're going to draft up the Rubik. He adds a lot to their team, not only in the potential to do a lot of AoE magic damage with the Fade Bolt, do a decent stun, very reliable with the telekinesis, but the pesky spell still just really frustrating, throwing your enemy spells right back in their face. So you get like a Beastmaster Primal Roar right at you, and you can roar him right back, or one of his very important carries there. So with that, Leshrac has a lot of really good spells. You can steal the Pulse Nova and the Split Earth, that's probably the 2 best ones, but the Edict is not bad in a lot of situations. Not bad at all. So moving forward, the Tide Hunter does get picked up. That is going to be a very good hero for just potential for laning. He does, his Gush is very supportive, he's very beefy, he can go toe-to-toe with just about anybody early on, as long as he can get the gap closed on them. But the big deal is going to be the Ravage, and Ravage being the giant AoE initiation. He's just a monster. Once he picks up a pipe or a mech or a blink dagger, whatever he needs, he just gets a little bit farm, then he starts rocking and rolling with those tentacles flying out all over the place and really doing a very powerful disable. And for that reason, I believe Dire's probably going to have to draft up a BKB carry, one that relies on Black King Barba. Instead they go for the AM, and we saw how effective that can be if you let him farm extensively in the early phase, as GGNet got rocked by them, by an anti-mage specifically, picked up by the manager. One of the managers there, but anywho, as far as what we have Radiant, we have PimPamPum, and we have Russian casters. Technically their name is USHNP. I have no idea what that stands for, but Russia never surrender. So, moving forwards, it looks like the Windrunner has been drafted up. That's going to round out their lanes quite a bit. Pretty much she's a very flexible hero, not only in a supportive nature, but also adding a lot just by going a long lane, whatever she needs to suicide, to survive. I mean, her Windrunner is very survivable. Her Shackle Shot is one of the better disables in the game, with the potential to disable 2 heroes with a really well-timed one for 3.75 seconds on only a 12-second cooldown, so that's going to be a really big deal. Along with that, the Power Shot is pretty good for for counter pushing if they put out some pressure, either with like an Ezreal or Nature's Prophet still available. Curious if they're going to be going for any summons or anything. One thing is, yeah, I'm surprised that Nature Prophet didn't get picked up instead of the Windrunner, because they are a really, really good combination together, but they want some more disable utility, and I'm sure somebody on the Russian caster team probably does an extremely good Windrunner, but under those circumstances, the Broodmother is a very smart draft here. The Windrunner, although her Power Shot can AoE to some extent, it really, after Broodmother finishes off her Soul Ring and gets enough points in Web, the Windrunner is going to have a really hard time sustaining against her, so she's okay 1v1, but not very good. In the meantime, Leshrac, he can go Lightning and Split Earth, but he much prefers to go for that Diabolic Edict to push down towers rapidly, and the Spiderlings will be able to dissipate that damage quite a bit, distributing amongst them and making sure that it's not nearly as effective as a single target damage nuke there. Along with that, the Orchid on Broodmother, if he rushes it, can bring down Anti-Mage extremely quickly, reliant so much on that blink to survive, and getting quick silence off on him as well as the amplified damage can really, really bring the hurt, and have a lot of problems there.
Radiant team ban.
My delay is higher, actually, and that's surprising because I'm only on a 1-minute delay. That's what they told me to put on, so if he is not on a 1-minute delay, then he literally doesn't have any delay at all, and it's going to be a really big problem for any kind of stream cheating. Not that this is for any money, so it's just a little reputation type thing. I doubt that they would, but there was some very fishy counter warding going on in one of my first games that I casted there, so now I'm just messing. But anywho, the Rubik Tidehunter Broodmother have been picked up. They ban out the Bounty Hunter, don't want to have to worry about that track on the Broodmother. I would also say Sand King would be a pretty good ban, as the Cossack Finale is one really good counteraction to the Spiderites. But the Lone Druid is the ban for the Dire, so they're going to be banning out Nagaslayer and Lone Druid, wanting to worry about those harder carries, because Broodmother, although she is very effective in her own lane and can scale pretty well towards the late game, she's generally not the only carry, because she can perfectly sustain herself, and they want to be able to support somebody too. So I'm curious if they're going to pick up like maybe a Tinker, maybe something a little bit more unorthodox that can benefit a lot from the gold that can be picked up by Broodmother killing a tower or something like that. But yeah, the Sand King ban comes out, very wise on their part. The Caustic Finale just being so strong against Broodmother, pretty much forcing her off the creep wave every single time a creep of her own is about to die, and obviously not being able to deny anything. In the meantime, it does bring down spiders extremely quickly, and that's not what she wants to deal with. So the ban comes out on Sand King, and with that, you're going to have to pick a soft counter, which is the Venomancer with the Sentry Wards. Venomancer being able to Gale will at least counteract the Web bonus move speed. At the beginning of it, it'll definitely stop her in her tracks very effectively, but it's very key to do that along with the Sentry, and wow, we're seeing a Pudge pickup. That's going to be fun. That is just going to be so intense here. I don't know any good Pudge players on PimPamPum, but I'm sure they have one if they're going to be picking it up, and they're going to be relying on him a lot. He's probably going to go for their solo mid. I have seen him go on long lanes and stuff, but right now, one way or another, he's going to need a lot of momentum. Pudge is an amazing hero, even against Anti-Mage. The Rod isn't that great, but the hook is pure damage, and the ulti to lock him down is pretty effective there. The big thing there is that Pudge relies so much on big hooks, and if he can latch down on anybody long range and get some good, clean kills with it, his Flesh Heap will give him a lot of momentum, give him a stacking health buff, and a strength buff, I believe, actually, and he gets a lot of momentum out of the early game. So around level 6 is when he really needs to get pretty easy, quick and easy kills or assists and keep the momentum going in their favor. Meanwhile, if Pudge can make big plays early on, that gives Broodmother a giant window of opportunity for her to put huge amounts of pressure on whoever she's laning against and then go to destroy the tower subsequently. Pretty much, if Pudge is going so crazy on a ganking spree, even if Broodmother's 1v3, the 1 or 2 supports are going to have to teleport away, and that gives Broodmother a huge opportunity to do what she does best. And once she gets that Orchid, Anti-Mage is going to have a lot of issues too. That is going to subject Rubik most likely to a supportive role alongside Tidehunter. They still haven't picked up a super crazy carry. Shadow Demon even picked up as the last I don't like that Shadow Demon pickup. Obviously, they know what they're doing. The Russians, they have their lineup, and so far they've done so well, only losing one game out of all of these. But overall, Shadow Demon doesn't add that much more than what they already had going on. I mean, you can disrupt either Pudge or the target that's being dismembered, and he also does a lot of effective damage over time with Venomancer, putting up that Soul Catcher and just hurting really, really hard. But the one thing that I think that the Shadow Demon is very beneficial for is the Leshrac combo. Shadow Disruption into Split Earth is very, very painful. But other than that, I don't know really what they're going to be able to do with it. There's a lot of really squishy supports, and they just picked up a freaking Riki Maru to go up against that. So Riki doing a lot of damage. He needs some. I mean, they were looking for a carry anyways. The one that's a really interesting thing about this pickup, Broodmother and Riki Maru are both 100% reliant on their invisibility, and that might mean that Sentry Wards are going to be a very, very popular pickup for the Dire team here. So Russian casters, all they need to do is detect, and they will have quite a bit of an advantage if the Broodmother and Riki Maru aren't played very carefully. But with that in mind, Riki will get pretty good farm going up laning with the Rubik and the Tidehunter. I mean, that's really hard to just fight against no matter what. They probably might go for an aggressive tri-lane, which would be interesting with an anti-mage. Going for an aggressive tri-lane is not generally what you do when you got the AM. You want to turtle and farm, but 2 carries are better than 1, as many say. And although Windrunner can scale pretty well, I definitely think that the endgame isn't necessarily secured on either team. They can definitely do a lot now, trying to put some damage into DK. Gets a blink off on them, but other than that, really, the disruption is not going to be in range, and they're not going to be able to stay on top of them. So DK, PimPamPum, falling back for the time being, not even bothering to waste Gush. The disruption goes out on Tidehunter, though. He's very strong early game, but the Split Earth doesn't hit him. That was way too clutch of a Split Earth. Now the Shackle does slow him down a little bit along with the Gale. He is trying to salve up, but he will drop. Maelstrom picking up the kill for that. So, good first blood. Committed a lot to it as far as mana goes, but that's a bunch of gold that everybody will enjoy, whether kill or assist. In the meantime, Shiba got some wards from his companions, so they're able to block off the spawn here. So you're not going to be able to have to worry about anything going on over there. In the meantime, Casper is going to transition back up towards the top. That is a fun little face guy that you got going on there. Is he like a crab? I don't know. But one way or another. He's going to get supported pretty effectively. Matrix for You and Versuda actually going for a dual lane, and I love this dual lane. It's so destructive. Pudge is going to have a really hard time up against it. Plain and simple, Shadow Demon sitting off with an easy disruption, following it off with a Split Earth if you can actually land it. The first one did not go so well, but if you can actually land it, it's extremely effective. And will 2-second stun following with the illusions pounding on you, then the Soul Catcher and the Edict. It does a lot if you can pull him into a bad position, which generally speaking Pudge wants to play aggressively, and if they're putting him very passive, that alone is going to do a lot for him. But in the meantime, actually Broodmother getting forced back for the time being. Sentry Ward number 1 did drop down. He did get galed up. He did pop another web, but they're not going to probably commit a second Sentry Ward for the time being. They're going to hang on to him and just let him fall back. I mean, Shiva sitting at this health level, you can actually salve while the rank 1 Gale's on you, but not a big deal either way. Did set him back as far as regeneration goes. Popping some of his only regen means his Soul Ring is going to be very difficult to acquire, as his last hits are really literally 1. Meantime, so that's Pudge and Broodmother in a pretty bad spot. The MBQ not landing the hook that he was looking for, and with that, it's only going to be Riki that's going to be winning his lane, and Windrunner, played by Vlad, will be able to do what he needs to do. So, oi oi oi, I'm going to do that. I swear I'm going to do some Russian calling if he makes some big plays there. But alas. Anyway, Shiba doing what he can, but like I said, he has a long way to go for a Soul Ring, and he really, really needs it if he's going to sustain in the lane. Casper starting off pretty strong with 5 and 6 and 2 last hits, but Riki Maru not doing too bad with 7 himself. So, and the one thing to mention is that with these 2 range creeps, the piercing damage, they're actually pushing out the wave a decent amount, and so Shiba is at least getting experience, if nothing else. I mean, they committed 1 Sentry Ward all the way back here, and that's not where the creep wave's been for the past minute. So, the nice pull action here at the 51-second or 51-second mark was sufficient to pull the creep waves in and get some deny action on. It actually stacks it in the process. So Troll Warlords along with the Wildkin. Possibly some skeletons, I don't know the AI on it, but not a big deal one way or another. Nice ward from the Dire. Windrunner feeling pretty safe up against that ward, but knows that the Gush is coming in. Going for the Shackle simultaneously. Gets Zero Gravity shackled up, but just too much backstab damage. Riki ranking his backstab up to number 2 with the Slivers of Agility, a little bit of Iron Branch action, and that's enough to bring her down. So she popped off the Shackle, but she's only level 1 and she didn't start with Windrun. She went for the Shackle to get the first blood up against Tide. And with that, if she can't hit level 2 anytime soon, she's going to have a really rough time on lane. So like I was saying, Sheba at least was getting some creep wave experience. The creep waves was pushed all in her direction, and safely on tower she was perfectly fine to get at least a little bit of experience. Now sitting at level 3, where Windrunner is barely a little bit into level 1. Along with that, although Pudge is shut down as far as aggressive play, he's going to be relatively safe. He's a very beefy guy. He could even technically put some points in Flesh Heap if he wants to survive a lot against the magic damage. But most of it is composite, with the Edict doing a lot there, or just the auto attack damage from the illusion. So that kind of stuff is physical or composite, and it's not going to really help him too much. So I think he'll just go standard 4-4-0-1 build to start things off. But in the meantime, Sheba taking a lot of damage up on top. The sentry is going to expire shortly, but the second sentry goes down, and that should be enough. He's slowed down, and Anti-Mage is going to get a quick and easy kill on this level 3 Broodmother, giving him plenty of gold that he is looking for here. So starting off his GPM, only 270, 289. That's decent there. I mean, his CS isn't nearly as high as Riki's, but by 6. I mean, that's 50% increase just about, but one way or another, he's getting his gold, and he's going to be looking for some good mid-game items right now. If Riki can pick up a Diffusal Blade, he can really hard shut down AM. He was actually picked very commonly as a counter-pick when the Anti-Mage reigned supreme, as far as like the only top-tier carry in a lot of people's minds. But moving forward, checking chat real quick, making sure everything's all set. Looks like it. I'm not going to bother scrolling up. But anyways, Shadow Demon starting off with a Disruption, followed with the Split Earth. It will land this time around. A lot of damage. Soul Catcher going on through 30% increased damage. He's trying to bring down Matrix for you with him, and he does manage to do so, but does not get the deny. Versuta picking up a kill, and that's solo experience for the Leshrac, which is really big. And he ranked up Split Earth, which I disagree with, but well, one way or another, it's going to be big experience for the Leshrac, even if it is for a 1-for-1 trade. But all things considered, the Shadow Demon and Leshrac generally thrive on getting clean kills that they don't have to worry about anything about. It's great that they have pretty much unlimited rune control. Actually, I don't know what happened to the 4-minute, but he has a bottle available to pick up the 6. In the meantime, Ashe transitioning back in towards mid. He might get oh, frick, camera, no! Anyways, the Leshrac coming in, sorry, completely screwed that up there. That was terrible, but anyways, the telekinesis was sufficient to set up Pudge, getting a nice hook, which I really wish I could have caught, but one way or another, now they're going on Versuta. He knows he has a Dismember, even if he is going in range of the Diabolic Edict, he doesn't care. He has enough follow-up damage that he can burn this down, but Ashe doesn't. And so it's an exchange, and Versuta drops down pretty hard, but he has a couple bottle charges available. In the meantime, though, Riki looking for a gank. Not finding it, though. I'm just going to fall back to safety there. Illusion apparently picked up on bottom was what I missed there. Anywho, sorry about that camera issue. That was terrible. I don't know why I did that to me, but oh well. Hopefully that won't happen again. Ring of Health picked up on the Anti-Mage, looking for a quick and easy Battle Fury. With his current GPM, he should be able to attain it around the 15, 16, 17 minute mark, unless Broodmother has something else to say in mind. But right now just sitting at 2-2 with the Soul Ring. Finally at where he needs to be. Probably could have gotten that a couple minutes ago if not for the active Sentry and Venomancer action. Like I said, kind of soft counter to him, being pretty effective there. Spider is trying to harass him down a little bit with their poison, but the Plague Ward piercing damage will put a lot of damage right back at them. So right now, Matrix for you and Versuta not getting nearly as many kills as they'd prefer. Ashe going to pick up an Invis because of the fact that they don't want to hand it away. And yeah, they're not going to bother with it. No spells cast off there. And it's just quick and easy rune grab that will delay Leshrac's farm because obviously he needs to sustain, and without being able to refill his bottle, he has those limitations there. Ashe actually wanting to assist with a hook here. If he does the telekinesis, the hook will be really easy. Wants to set it up. Telekinesis, hook on through. Matrix for you. You are toast, but he doesn't have the mana for Dismember though, and the disruption is just enough. The auto attacks from Rubik just barely sufficient though. Imba getting away from the Diabolic Edict from the low ground, and the illusions didn't last long enough to cause him any grief there. So he's going to have to fall back, but at least he Rubik got the kill there. Very effective combination with the telekinesis starting off for the hook. Good action there, Sheba. Just harassing back as best he can. Not sure what he's doing with that Soul Ring charge now that Anti-Mage has fallen back, but not a big deal one way or another. Just sends out another web. And actually missed on bottom lane. Windrunner, again, having a lot of issue. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed this. What's her is she only down 2? No, 3. Enrique Morrow has a killing spree, 3-0-0 up against the 0-3-1. But the big thing here is look at that experience level. I know I just missed a Pudge kill, but look at her experience per minute. 26. She can't get near the wave. She is getting destroyed, and Vlad not happy about that at all. Riki is just completely dominating him. Level 8 versus level 1. I mean, this is like fish in a barrel. Easy peasy. He's probably going to die again. The Shackle at least lands this time, but all that means is he can actually get to level 2 with a little bit of creep experience. I think the Blink Strike might have finished that off. In the meantime, I was missing some kill action in mid and top, and I do apologize for that, but I just wanted to cover that real quick because I've been missing it the past 6 minutes, the fact that Windrunner hasn't been able to jump on the lane even the tiniest a bit. So, well, that's why I need a Codecaster. It's just a little bit of call-outs one way or another. Keep on tabs of everything going on one way or another. Versuta does pick up his Arcane Boots with that most recent kill, and we'll be doing a lot better there, but Pudge wants to be aggressive as possible. He wants to put out a lot of damage on this Anti-Mage. He's actually going 3-1-1, so not worried about, obviously, the Shadow Demon being on his side. Not too concerned about it. Weirdest hook I've ever seen, but, you know, whatever. Anywho, Howie 2000, actually checking it out. Dignitas bottom guy, so that's pretty cool. But Shadow Demon has his rank 3 Soul Catcher. That's like 40% increased damage received, which is a really big deal, and can add in a lot if you get it on the right target. Telekinesis goes up onto Maelstrom, but now the Disruption goes out onto Rubik. He gets Split Earth, immediately goes down, just completely fried. No chance at all, and Windrunner dies once more on the bottom lane. No surprise at all. Pretty much Riki, with his Blink Strike backstab practically maxed out here. Doesn't even need Smokescreen, just says, I will keep on auto-attacking you, you will keep on dying. And now, finally, Vlad makes the very, very wise choice to go to a different lane. Probably jungling might be a little bit more effective as far as experience at gold at this point in the game. MBQ coming up, looking for some long-range hooks, has that level 8. And that's where the hook really, obviously level 7 was where the hook really came into play, but he's doing really well right now. And now Casper wants to force Broodmother of the tower, but Glyph pops, the hook goes on to Anti-Mage. He does get stunned out, and they are trying to bring him down, but he's able to blink away just barely. The Disruption goes out on Broodmother, so he wasn't able to follow up on the damage. Venomancer drops down, but then MBQ falls to the Shadow Demon. So now Shiva finish him off. Not on top of the ball here. Need a little bit more caffeine, obviously, but anywho, in that teamfight exchange, the Anti-Mage barely made it out, and they were able to bring down the Pudge once more. Did cost them a Venomancer and a Leshrac, though, and no. That was very silly. That was very silly indeed. So, Opa Zero Gravity. Very big play there. He wanted the Shadow Demon, did not get him. So Matrix for you, completely unscathed, as that Ravage. Don't even know what to say. I'm sure the chat will enjoy that quite a bit. But that'll be in a moment when you guys see the... Just no. I'm face palming, by the way, if you guys didn't see. Which, of course, you didn't. Anywho, moving forward, Titan are actually maxing Gush. Interesting here. Gush increases the amount of armor reduction, which is really good as a supportive ability. If you're in a big group of people, it will do more damage, based on the fact that they're all auto-attacking the guy. But unfortunately, actually, DK getting caught out here. Riki can only live so long, especially without that drop, but he's getting away the Gale. Can he salve through it? I don't know, but he uses one charge and was sufficient. Yes, Pudge sacrifices life, but Riki survives, and Riki living on is much more important. Anti-Mage, did he pick up the kill for that with his Mana Void? I do believe, but nope. Leshrac got it, and Mana Void just interrupted the Dismember. No big deal. Anywho, yeah, the Gush maxing. He wants Vlad again. He wants Vlad again. Oh, there goes the Shackle Shot at the very least, putting some damage out. Versuta looking for some stun. The dust goes on through. This Split Earth does land. Is he fast enough? He's so quick right now, but the Disruption will make sure that he gets locked down as soon as that ends, as he'd still had dust. But yeah, the Gush reduces armor, so allied assisted damage will be much more promising, but it costs so much mana, and being forced to use that repeatedly make sure that without Arcane Boots you will not have mana for Ravage unless you've only used it once, and that's very difficult for him, as he is only level 6 and kind of starved on XP. I've had XP for a minute, up for a while. Riki doing very well in that indeed. Leshrac not doing too bad despite the fact that he was laying as a duel, but if you look at the net worth, Riki topping out the GPM, 5100, but Anti-Mage closing in. We saw how much Anti-Mage can get. Once he gets that Battle Fury up, he can do a lot, but instead he went for the Treads, just to sustain against this Broodmother a little bit, I believe. In the meantime, looking for a kill onto the Riki Mario, but instead misses a stun, gets a lot of backstab damage going in, and despite the Edict, he just chows on through him, puts a lot of damage out. Now he is stunned up. The Purge goes on through. He wants to go aggressive. Screw Dust. I'm just going to jump on top of you and kill you. No problem at all. And he's actually not going to Diffusal Blade. He's going for Yasha. Hopefully for like an Orb of Venom, go for a, like a, what am I thinking, Manta Scotty build will be really, really fun. But we'll have to see. Maybe just go with some Troll, Sanjin, Yasha pickups. I hope not. But we will see. In the meantime, Casper taking a decent chunk of damage. How far from the Orchid? He's not even building it just yet, so hard to say if he wants to pursue that endeavor, but I think it's a really, really good counter to Anti-Mage. Coming up out of invisibility and then putting a lot of damage pressure on Maelstrom. Has the double damage, wants to use it on the Spider, but with no detection, not going to happen. In the meantime, level 4 Windrunner, nowhere is safe for you, Vlad, and he's just getting destroyed. And that's the problem, is you're looking at the net worth, and I'm like, yeah, Anti-Mage has been doing pretty much free farm. He's been active in fights, he's got a couple of assists, but the thing is, this Riki is getting so much feed from this, and actually landing a nice Imbus Q, landing a nice Pudge hook onto the Venomancer as he's trying to fall back, and that's going to be increasing. If you're just looking at the KDA, 710 Riki Maru, 532 Pudge. That's where you want to be. At level 10, he's going to pick up the Flesh Heap, and from there he's going to have 7 stacks of that, and continue increasing that as he increases strength value. Their Windrunner just wants her phase boots, just wants to live, but it doesn't seem like it's in the cards for her, as DK just continues to hunt her down every time she comes on lane. And speaking of which, here they come, and you would think that they'd be using Vlad as bait by now, but unfortunately right now they're just letting him go up by himself, and though they do have some good support, Pudge trying to land a hook on Versuta, not going to happen. They do actually have a really sweet ward here. It's just barely outside the tower range as far as detection, and with that they're able to get a really good coverage in the middle lane. I really like that ward, probably one of the more fun ones I've seen recently, so that'll give them a lot of potential to pressure up on the mid. But one thing they definitely know is that although everybody's in mid, that gives them a ton of opportunity for Shiva up on the top lane with the Broodmother, put pressure out on towers and get all the gold that he missed out during the very harsh laning phase there. As you can see, he's sitting at 0-1-1, but the net worth is definitely favoring the 2 Invis heroes right now. And even with detection, you can just see Riki jumping on things and couldn't care less, doing so much with it. So he will be going for that ultimate orb and Manta Style in the near future. The spell steal comes out. Ashe, I haven't even seen him spell steal much, but finally takes a rank 3 power shot. The only thing that Vlad's got, Riki up super aggressive. He's all by himself. Could get split earth right here. Decent damage coming into him, trying to edict him down. The Ravage goes off, and it looks like Riki will survive with the Purge still on him, but the Tidehunter will drop down. MVQ looking for a big hook. 4 seconds, trying to follow for the in the meantime, does get stunned out. He knows where Versuta was. Can he juke in the hook? Nope, he can juke it, and now the damage going back and forth. The Edict pops off, and that's going to be MVQ dead easily. He might be able to rot. Nope. And just putting out too much damage pressure. As soon as that Edict popped up, I knew Pudge could not survive in that 1v versus 1 encounter. Not whatsoever. Ashe just looking for the last hit. Finds it, and is able to drop down. But Riki, as far as I could tell, survived that. Yeah, he did. And even got 1 more assist for his troubles. And Casper farming very aggressively, but has to watch himself. Luckily, there are no Radiant wards right here. They're actually playing very aggressively, wanting to ward up on the top, allow the Broodmother to push up on the tower very effectively, and now has quite a big control over their jungle. As you can see, the easy camp and the easternmost one as it's being farmed. Nope, didn't actually put it. If you put it right here, you can actually see the easy camp, but no big deal one way or another. Good ward coverage on the top rune in that general area. In the meantime, DK getting a lot of damage put on him, and he tries to blink strike away. Will it work? The magic wand kept him alive for a little bit, but he tried to silence up on somebody who was already pulse noving, and he does drop down for sure. He might be able to get 0 gravity out of there, though. I'm not sure what just stolen. Serpent wards. Man, throw down some plague wards, man. You'll save your lives. It's like the best thing to steal. What is happening to Vlad? I don't even know. I guess Broodmother was putting damage on him, but just barely survived by 20. They're going to have to pause for this Venomancer to come back in. I think it's been an opportunity to check the chat. Sorry, this game wasn't as good as the other ones there, but overall, still been a very fun day of casting, and I'll get back into it with a little bit more caffeine here, but nothing to me as far as that goes. So hopefully you all are enjoying the cast so far. Could be a little bit more on top of things, but the games are very fun, very active no matter what. And when you have a Riki Maru just going around and two-shotting a Windrunner, it is kind of hard to stay on top of those things. So one way or another. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. But it's Drodo the Druffin. The last words of Drodo the Druffin. Look at his fish. He wants that. He's just trying to eat. But looks like Matrix for You is going to bring that down. At the very least, Casper can blink on it in 2 seconds if he needs it. But I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be 175 gold for the Dire team, the Russian casters. So looking at the advantage right now, with Riki Maru and Broodmother, Riki pressuring the heroes, Broodmother pressuring the towers, those two together have accumulated a very substantial gold advantage for their team, sitting at well over 7,500. The about 800 will be sent back to the Russian team. We'll cycle this courier 175 each. So that's a pretty big deal, but It's going to take a lot more for Anti-Mage to pick up his farm, because right now he's only got half a Battle Fury and Treads, and against a Rikimaru who can just silence you up, and hopefully an Orchid. Yeah, there's a 1 Oblivion Staff down, a Quarterstaff in the bank, so I'm trying to think of the math on that. I haven't thought about the recipe for Orchid in a long time, but I'm just going to ballpark 2,000 gold away from it, I don't know. Anywho, right now, I'm not sure, where 1 web up on the position here, otherwise not very well covered up. He probably needs to drop a few more down, but not a big deal one way or another, as he has almost unlimited mana with the Oblivion Staff and the Soul Ring. But with that, Matrix For You playing very supportively, has been continuously warding, sentrying, doing exactly what he needs to, only has boots, but that 4-staff would be very, very nice up against the Riki Cloud that will be forthcoming and doing more and more. Riki no Cloud build too strong, and he's actually looking for a Yasha into a Diffusal Blade, so he wants to go full out aggressive, screw health, I want to Glass Cannon it, and with this he's going Diffusal Blade after the Yasha. Generally speaking, the Diffusal Blade is better for ganking, but the mobility from Yasha can't be underestimated, and he can stay on top of things very effectively until he gets purged and annihilated. But anyways, probably going to go Diffusal Blade and then BKB then. Still trying to figure out. I guess Broodmother must have brought down Vlad to such a low health level, but he's very fortunate having been able to win run out or whatever he did to survive. So a little bit of Russian back and forth. Cannot read or speak a word of Russian. I have no idea what they're saying, but not a big deal one way or another. Venomancer, why are you disconnected? One thing I will note, though, is they have a Leshrac and a Venomancer, and to some extent a Windrunner, and they haven't taken a single tower. Edict and Plague Wards maxed out, and they still haven't touched top hardly at all, bottom still very well standing, and mid, yeah, they really haven't put any damage on the towers. It's just ridiculous, and that's where the potential gold lies right here. I mean, that's 1,000 gold right there. You think about the 200 that everybody gets, and then you add in the last hit. It's like 300 for Tier 1, 500 for Tier 2. I forget the exact numbers. Probably should look up those numbers a little bit, but one way or another, what I'm talking about, I didn't know it showed movement speed. That's hilarious. The tower has 0 movement speed. He's been frostbitten forever. I wonder if there's lore on towers and stuff. They're going to add that in. It has a little bit of a perk. I know they're working on tutorials and stuff right now, but it'll be fun once they improve all the mechanics and everything so that the game can be launched. Joe the Druffin still having a bad time, and really doesn't know exactly how he's going to die, but it's forthcoming, that's for sure. So he's very sad. But anyways, as far as the current setup of the game right now, the Anti-Mage, if he can pick up his farm, is going to be a very, very real threat in the later stage of the game, but Broodmother and Riki scale very well themselves, and right now the momentum is all in favor of the Radiant 15 and 12, and if the Rikimaru would stop diving in a little bit and DK would play with his team a little bit more conservatively, I think they could easily knock down Tier 2s, and if anybody else jumps into a position that's too dangerous for them, then they will just be able to gank them up, Blink Strike, Pudge Hook, whatever they need to do to bring them down. As far as Rubik and his spell steal, there's really, I think, one thing that the Russian casters drafted very well is everything they have to steal is rather worthless. It's tied into, like, the Venomancer. His Nova's pretty good, but if you don't have the Gale to follow it up, a lot of people are going to get away non-fatal. The Anti-Mage, the Blink is really nice to stay on top of people, but the Mana Void will only be good against, like, Leshrac and I guess Windrunner. The Shadow Demon and Windrunner both have pretty low mana pools, especially at this stage of the game. Shadow Demon's Purge is good, and the Disruption and Soulcatcher are great, don't get me wrong, but they're not game-breaking. There's Jordo the Druffin popping into 1,000 feathers, and not too happy about that. And they pinged, they want to go on Shiba immediately after the fact, and they're going to transition on him. The Sentry goes up, Disruption goes on through. Most likely the Soulcatcher will not work out for them, and they got the dust. Now Shiba wants to go aggressively, but here comes Leshrac changing his mind as he drops down, and Anti-Mage KS's that just to make sure he gets a little bit extra gold there. So, not only has the courier fallen, but now it's a quick and easy kill on this level 10 Broodmother, and that's a pretty big deal. I mean, Broodmother is topping it out pretty high up on the experience, and sending that out to Leshrac and Anti-Mage, as well as their companions, will be a pretty big deal as the game goes along. Now, Leshrac sitting at rank 2 Pulse Nova, a lot of magic damage there. Kind of don't dislike the Bracer build, a double Bracer build up on Leshrac. It's great on support Leshrac because he has absolutely no farm, he just needs to survive as long as possible in team fights, gives him a little bit more health, a little bit more mana. But with the current state, he's really decent on at least experience per minute, and he's actually top for his team's net worth. So with that, I would definitely build more towards semi-carry Leshrac, and build actually Pudge taking a lot of damage somewhere. Nope, just jungling. panicking for that, but I don't want to focus on one thing for too long here. Looking to double invis, gank up on Anti-Mage. The Cloud goes on through, one more backstep. Oh, Ash kill secured with the Fade Bolt, but that does give him his mechanism, so he's probably pretty happy for that. So he'll finish that up and have that cored out to him. As long as he has the mana to sustain it, he will be able to heal up his team and provide some nice utility. And now Ash, a little bit sad that he doesn't have the courier to bring him his mech, but will just go and get it himself, and he gets a little bit of a revenge kill on all these guys here. Going along, but yeah, like I was saying, the Lestrak, he currently has an Ogre Club and 2 bracers. The one bracer, sure, whatever, he can build into drums or something. Along with that, it gives decent amount of stats, but 2 bracers, you're going to have to sell something in no time at all. I'd rather not sell a bottle, as it does give you more benefit for bottling up runes and staying sustained on the battlefield. So really, he bought 2 bracers, and then like 10 minutes later, he's going to have to sell one of them. That's half the value gone, and it helped for a little bit, but I really think he should just be focusing on like point boosters and things like that. Looking for Bloodstones, looking for Aghanims, looking for BKBs, things along those lines. Much better use of your gold. So as far as last hits go, Riki doesn't even need them. Sitting at the highest net worth despite only having 82, but Illusion's going on through. And they know it's fake. They're not going to bother disremembering it or anything along those lines. Matrix for me, you legitimately being in the middle lane. Once more, Hook going right behind him, but not going to drop him out. No problem at all. So the game has slowed down a little bit, considering all the pausing and everything, but it's still going to be very active. If DK sticks with his team, that's the Diffusal. He just needs 450, about to pick it up. Blink strikes the last creep, and will be able to buy his Diffusal Blade right now. And the Courier is about to come back up. It's the unusual Mortal International Courier. And there you go. So, a little bit of Spiderling blockage going on now. The Telekinesis does go up on Maelstrom. He doesn't get hooked, though. I think that was a Spiderite that blocked him off. I'm not sure, but one way or another, he does get blocked, maybe just in neutral. But Matrix for you getting a lot of damage on him, trying to block him up like crazy with the Spiderites, but it's not going to happen. Another hook goes on through, completely missing, and Pudge not really proving that this Pudge pickup specifically was the best. InBQ, I mean, he's doing well with it, but there are many heroes that can have a lot much more gank potential, especially against an anti-mage, than for Pudge. So he could have gone like Night Stalker or something. Actually, here comes kill onto Vlad at least. Nope, will survive once more with just a tiny bit. Telekinesis up 23 HP still. Gonna fall back, but he will survive. In the meantime, InBQ, a lot of spells on him from the Shadow Demon, but nothing's going to drop him down. He's perfectly fine for the time being. Will Tranquil Boots up as soon as those charges come back to life. Meantime, Windrunner, by the skin of her teeth, just barely surviving. I would say, based on purchasing an HP item, but nope, just at base stats was perfectly fine. Dust coming out from her, trying to play supportive now that she has been shut down so hard. In the meantime, Casper really wants to finish this Battle Fury. He's so close to it, and with just a couple hundred more gold, he will be able to get that major farming item. But one thing is the Broodmother is putting the pressure that Casper cannot stand. Right now. I'll probably answer your question in chat after the fact, but not really appropriate for the cast for this time being. In the meantime, Shiva playing very aggressively up on top here. Like I was saying, the Battle Fury will be coming out for the Anti-Mage right about now, but the issue with that is that the towers have all been pushed in. They only have 2 tier 2s left, and with that, Casper's freedom to roam around and farm, especially particularly in the jungle, is much more limited now. Shadow Poison, rank 1 taken for Rubik. The hook goes out onto Maelstrom. A lot of damage coming out from the Poison Nova. They want to follow up on this right now. The Ravage goes off, though. Split Earth to follow. Will it? Nope. He doesn't actually bother with it. He gets taken down by Casper staying on top of him. The Dismember goes up on Pursuta, taking a lot. He's trying to bring down Ash up on the top end, and one more auto attack should do it. But triple kill for Pudge. He's staying on top of things. And Diffusal Blade and the Ghost, he does finish off the Rubik, but Anti-Mage drops down too. Diffusal Blade and the Smoke Screen, sorry. And that finishes that job there. So 4 kills for 1. Very effective there. Really nice Ravage, setting everything up. It was going to be a quick and easy pick off on, I believe, the Rubik, but the Ravage kept him up and allowed them to get a lot of quick and easy kills out of it, so very effective there. Unfortunate that he didn't split Earth. The 2-second stun to follow the Ravage would have been beautiful on 3 people grouped up perfectly with no delay on the cast animation, but a little bit too focused on trying to run for his life. So one way or another, they get the job done. They get a nice kill advantage. 20-14, the hook does not work so well. Stationary targets, man. But he was expecting them to run back or something, I don't know. I do that all the time. I over-predict. I'm like, I'm trying to get inside their head, and I think they're actually better than they are, and I think they have like this clairvoyant thing where they see the hook coming and they run away from it. So I predict where they're going to run away from, and then I don't hit this stationary guy. So unfortunate there, but one way or another. PimPamPum coming into this game very effectively. Battle Fury, although up on Anti-Mage, he's really not very durable. He can auto-attack for a decent amount. He can farm very well, as you can see him attempting to on the bottom lane. But the fact of the matter is, he is short on farm for the time being. And Orchid, is it finished? Is it finished? Yeah, that's technically Orchid in the bank. Now, PimPamPum going on Casper. So much damage. Look at that right-click from the backstab. 1.25 coefficient on his backstab. So, obviously, doing his full auto-attack damage and then adding that in as a bonus every time he takes him from behind. And with that, not Anti-Mage's day. The one thing is, yeah, you can get as much magic armor as you want, but if you get burned down like that in physical damage, it looks like Anti-Mage is going to have to pick up a BKB just to get out of the smoke screen itself, which is very unfortunate for him. Ash dewarding just a little bit. Matrix for you trying to lock him down with his team hopefully backing him up. Shadow Poison stolen once more. Not sure the point of that. But now Shadow Demon getting pressured really hard. He would be dead right now if the Orchid was up, but it's been in the stash this whole time. Now a lot of damage coming in. All the spells going into Shiba. He is dusted up, cannot escape. Ash should be falling back too as they are both falling down. Versuda getting two. He only got one of the kills, but he got a lot of damage out with that Pulse Nova at rank 2, just dishing it out and going for that BKB in about 500 gold. So very effective, doing a lot there, but moving on. Thanks for tuning in, guys, those that do remain. I appreciate it. Blaze Casting, up-and-coming Dota 2 caster, and though there are some more familiar faces doing a little bit of casting on the other streams there, I do enjoy this tournament thus far. It's been very fun, very fast-paced, and a lot of action going on through. I think I just need to buy more energy drinks. That's all I need to do to stay up on the action. But so far it's been crazy. The Rikimaru sitting at 8-2-3, very happy for it. Tidehunter has his Ravage once more. Wants that level 11, not there just yet, but will at least have his Hood of Defiance for the time being. The Hood, pretty effective against Leshrac and Venomancer, so that'll be a pretty big deal there. But Versuda, trying to go for that BKB. When he gets the BKB, the only thing that'll be able to lock him down is the Dismember, and of course a lot of auto attack damage, but one way or another, he's going to try to survive as best he can. The Pud's looking for a 4-staff. And actually, is that going to be the only 4-staff in the game? It's going to be on the team that's on the same side as the Riki? It looks like it. One thing that counters Riki Cloud and Diffusal so effectively is either Eul Scepter to dispel it, speaking of which, Quick, Diffusal Blade, Manta Style, Ghost Scepter, or sorry, why did you say Ghost Scepter? I keep on calling it Ghost. It's a smoke screen, and with that, Anti-Mage just gets fried and is no longer safe to farm in his own jungle, which is extremely unfortunate because this Riki is just about everywhere right now. DK playing extremely effectively and just showing why this Riki was picked up by far. He can just lock down on this Anti-Mage, and I'm not going to preemptively call GG, but the Dire team is in a very sore spot because their carry just is not free to farm. We saw this a lot. Flat popping off his wind run. The Gale goes wide. And it's just going to give them an opportunity to put more pressure out. They can even look at Roshan right now. Easy peasy, no problem. Splitter does go off on Riki, but he could care less. There's plenty of health available now with that Ultimate Orb component of the Manta Style completed, and he will put a lot of pressure out one way or another. Hook goes on through in the queue, picking up Maelstrom, and he's going to drop down very easily. I'm kind of surprised Matrix didn't come right over here and disrupt him, but he probably knew it was one way or another impossible to do anything about. In the meantime, a lot of pressure going on up top tower. As you can see, the Spiderettes doing a lot of damage, bringing it down to 480, and the Fortify is not up for a very long time. The Hook goes wide, trying to lock down on somebody. What's Riki doing? Jumping onto Matrix for you. Quick and easy kill. The Windrun popped extremely preemptively for Windrunner, trying to survive as best he can. He's still 100 gold away from that 4-staff, and he needs it so bad to get out of that smoke screen and that Diffusal combination. Versuda trying to get some damage out. Instead gets stolen, and that Pulse Nova is really nice for Ash. He doesn't have that much mana to support it, only 1,000, but, you know, it's going to burn down creeps extremely quickly and allow them to put pressure right here while Shadow Demon is down. In the meantime, what's Anti-Mage doing? Just trying to hold up top, but the tower keeps on taking damage down to 190. Now MBQ actually on pretty low life, can 4-staff out of the stun that's about to be forthcoming. Just hooks in Versuda, actually out of the smoke screen. There was really nice shackle going off. DK taking a lot of damage now, and now the Ravage goes on through though. He's looking for some counter damage. Casper getting away. No silence coming through, but Black will not be so lucky. Taking a lot of damage from the Edict and the Pulse Nova. Riki will get mech'd up and be perfectly fine. I can't say the same for MBQ. He will try to go for a long-range hook, but in the end he is going to fall. Shadow Demon getting the kill on that. Now lots of buybacks going on through Pudge, and now they're Riki trying to burn down Versuda, will manage to do so. Now jumping onto Vlad and two-shotting him practically. The Anchor Smash could have brought him down, but instead looking at Matrix for you as he's not Windrun. One quick right click, and now the Rampage. There you go. That's what you're talking about. Stay on top of them. Just right click, just running for their lives, trying to scramble around to clean up kills. And good game, well played. PimPamPum of the random hodgepodge team of all these different organizations. Not sure who he's associated with, but he definitely carried this game hardcore. 15-2 and 3. Look at that GPM, 579, and just send this gold graph, this experience graph, all in their favor. There's so much. Riki, the gank master, to some extent, should really prove the name of the. Is it Stealth Assassin? Yeah, always call him Shadow Assassin, but he is Stealth Assassin, and for very good reason, as he has farmed up very effectively and had an extremely good lane against that Windrunner, that's for sure. So thanks for tuning in, guys. If you don't know who I am, Blaze Casting. I'm going Dota 2 caster for America that has enjoyed these tournaments so far. I do a lot of in-house games, Team Liquid, things like that, and do that. I cast at least 2 evenings a week, sometimes 3. But one way or another, I have enjoyed so far this Dota 2 Staff Cup. We'll be going into, we have 2 more games left in the Cup before they conclude, and Europe is getting very late, I'm sure. But one way or another, it's been very fun. Have to go to the losers bracket final, GGNet versus whoever just won this, which would be PimPamPum. So GGNet versus PimPamPum, and the winner of that will go on to fight up against the managers in the winners bracket here. So there you go, 600 GPM, Riki Myro 28 minutes in. That's how you do it. And that's going to be the end of the game here. One last disconnect coming out from Leshrac will bring us to the scoreboard, and thus the conclusion of the game. But appreciate you guys tuning in. It was very fun to cast. And one way or another, mad punch hooks or not, we got a very good game and a very, very ganktastic style coming out from the Radiant here. Go home, Leshrac. Russians never surrender. But alas, Anti-Mage looking for some big mana bombs. Boom! That's the Tidehunter going to drop down, and now he's looking to kill him. Oh my gosh! Riki goes up against him. He literally has 200 HP and just goes up and clouds him and finishes him off in the smoke. So sad, but that's how it goes. Too cool. 0 gravity. But alas, that will be the conclusion of this game, and going on into the last 2 to finish off this up. Thank you for tuning in thus far. I know the viewers have been distributed a lot because now that we are in the final games and only one going at a time, everybody's looking at the big names, but I still feel I bring a lot to the table even though I've only been at it for 3 months. I have had a lot of fun with this and trying to constantly improve. Is he going to go for it? Oh, okay. Pulse Nova, and the Riki drops. Oh. Godlike streak. But there you go. Conclusion here, Versuta being the last to leave and still in it until the Tier 4 and thus the Ancient will fall. No Roshan in this whatsoever. I'm kind of surprised of the amount of physical damage they could put out there and the Spiderlings be able to tank a little bit despite that bash. Versuta finishing that job and taking off the Pudge. But no Roshan at all. Don't need that momentum when you can just take towers, take kills. And one last thing, one last insult. Incomplete Russian, probably not understood at all before he drops down to Tidehunter coming in with a long range gush to finish the job. But good game, well played, and that will be the end of it. So they says good luck in the tournament, going up against GGNet in just a moment's time, and from there we will go on through the rest of the tournament. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Go to the scoreboard, go to maybe just one song to get everybody grouped up together, get myself a drink because my throat is killing me. But after that, we will move forward and have a lot of fun with the next game. So get ready for some Purge Stomp action, or Stomp or be stomped. That's how it shall go. But going to fight against PimPamPum, who have just done an amazing job with this Riki pickup. And from here, the conclusion.